Sorry.
Welcome back to No Limits. And as you can see on the screen, we got a very special guest. We got Wade Plemons, aka the Wade Concept. What's going on, brother? Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, man, it's I'm having a blast. I'm on No Limits because I've never had any. With my boy Prab. No, man, I'm glad to be here. I know that people had told me you've been reaching out for a while. Finally, we got to connect, man. So I'm glad to be here.
Oh, that's all nice to hear, man. Hey, Wade, let's kick it right off.
Sure.
You're big known in the boxing community. Many
Mhm.
people know about you. You know, you have a lot of subscribers on YouTube as well. But I wanted to get a little bit of introduction from you for the people that might not know you.
Yeah, so I'm Wade. My channel is the Wade Concept. It is a YouTube boxing / MMA / regular boxing breakdown channel, mainly focused in the YouTube boxing scene because I enjoy it so much. Yeah, that's basically what I do. I break down fights, I break down training footage, I break down diss tracks sometimes, and whatever else comes my way in the YouTube boxing scene. I'm a commentator. I do boxing commentary as well. So all that and more over at the Wade Concept.
Wade, one thing I would like to call you is the Breakdown King.
Appreciate
In my opinion, we all know you break down anything you get the chance to break down, right?
I'm actually, it's funny. I was in the middle of setting up. I'm going to record right after this a breakdown, a little Deji footage that came out. There's probably 2 minutes of it, but I found it so interesting, so I got to break it down.
Of course, I'm not surprised. But you're the Breakdown King, and I recently released boxing footage in the back of a truck at my warehouse, and I'm getting roasted for it on Twitter. No. I deserve it. I deserve it. Like, I'm not a boxer. I haven't joined a boxing gym yet, but we got the Breakdown King live on No Limits, and wait,
Yes.
we got to break down the footage.
I'm waiting on it, bro. Yeah, where's it at?
All right, let's go. Let's go.
I went to your Twitter right now. I was about to look for it.
Oh, fuck. Where did it go? Did I lose it? I had it ready. Oh, right here. Right here.
All right, let me see.
All right, 1 second. Shit. Oh, fuck. How do I put this up? Okay.
When's that from? September 6th here.
Yeah, not too recent, but
okay.
It's funny.
Let's see here.
All right. You see the footage, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. We're starting it now.
Hey, listen.
What do you think?
There's a couple things, right? The jab's not bad though. I'm watching the jab. It's not terrible. Hand placement could be better. When we roll under the lead there, we're kind of looking dead at our shoelaces. We want to keep our head up a little more. But every time you throw too, there's things that you do, like go run it again. You gotta give that chin. You see your chin jut every time you throw uppies? Chin jut. You go, like he hit me in the face, You want to
cut him the most slack possible.
But other than that, man, listen, first time you're doing stuff, it's not terrible. You're throwing a lot behind those shots, but still there's some speed there, I'd say just a little more loose, tuck the chin, keep the hands a little higher, and keep your head up when you're rolling, and you're straight, bro.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Wade, you might not even know this, but before I made my Twitter, I used to have a burner account, and this was before you really popped off, and I DM'd you, and I sent you footage of myself. It was when I would fuck around with my boys in like a garage, right? And then you sent me like 2-3 whole paragraphs, like telling me on what I can do to improve. And I'm just some like burner account on Twitter, and I was like, okay, this guy's a good dude. This guy's a good dude.
I still be doing that, man. People still be sending me stuff when I can. It's tougher now, but when I can, I still be trying to reach out and help people, man. The boy Fox, he sent me some stuff, and I was like, yo, you don't need my help. That kid he can bang a little bit. So
yeah, I've seen it.
But there's a bunch of people, man. I always try to help out when I can.
Yeah, no. So I was at work, literally. I work at a warehouse, right? And I was like, yeah, I'm bored. Let's record a little video in back of a trailer. People are gonna bring that. I know they would mention that. I'm like, you know what? From a year from now, when I actually join like a proper gym, let's see how I do. That's the whole point of these videos. But yeah, let's get into the interview now, Wade.
Sure, yeah.
I want to know, Wade, where did it all begin? I want to know the whole story. When did Wade Plemons turn into the Wade Concept? How did this all begin? Like, you're at such a high place now. Like, tell me.
It started with me when I was living in Florida at the time, and I was sleeping on the floor of this this place I was renting from two old ladies, and I was trying to just figure out what I wanted to do in my life. I had damn near no money. I had no college degree. I had moved from where I live now to Florida on a whim, just to say, okay, like, this is my big chance to do an internship with an ESPN radio station locally, not even like ESPN radio, but a local one down there. Yeah. And I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew that I had a passion for broadcasting. I had a passion for sports, and I had definitely had a passion built up from my time in California for MMA and combat sports. So I started the Wade concept, and I was just like, at least it's a resume, right? Like, I don't have the college degree. I'm doing this internship for free. I'm working at a CVS. At least this can be my way of saying, hire me, because I can do X, Y, and Z. So basically I started it, and I started doing live streams on YouTube. I would do 1 to 2 live streams a week, breaking down the next UFC fight. And then on the fight night, I would break down or a live commentary for all 8 hours of the UFC card, or 7 hours, or whatever it was, live the entire night, with maybe like one person watching me. But I was what I do for about 1.5 to 2 years there. And then I said, okay, I've built up enough. Let me get away from the Wade concept and really start to go to these businesses, and I moved back to California, and I live in Orange County, but I would drive to LA every Monday. I would drive to LA, and I would hand out, I don't know, 100 resumes, 50 resumes. I don't remember what it was, but I would take a bunch with me. I'd get all dressed up, and I'd go to Showtime. I'd go to Hulu. I'd go to Fox Sports. I'd go to ESPN. Most of these places, they wouldn't even let me in the door, and I would like shimmy the paper through the door. But yeah, that's what I did. And then I just thought, why am I giving up on what I built to go and do something for someone else? It doesn't seem like they're very interested in hiring me. There was one time, I know this is off topic, I went to LMU University, which is in Los Angeles, and posed like a student so that I could go in and get my resume in front of Showtime Boxing on their career day. So I made it in, got in front of them, and they told me because I didn't have a student card, I couldn't go up there. So I drove my ass up there for basically nothing. But that was my mentality at the time. Do whatever it took, and so, yeah, I kept with the channel. And then, if you want me to go through it all, what happened that really took the channel off was I started working for another YouTube channel that people really don't know about, but it was a fairly big channel.
Mm-hmm.
What channel?
So it was called Gminio.
Really?
Yeah, Gminio. It was I don't even know if they're still up, but it was a video game reaction channel. We would do breakdowns and not breakdowns, but that's where my idea started. We would do reactions to video game trailers, new skins in games like League of Legends and Overwatch, and stuff that I particularly didn't care about. I had no interest in, to be honest. But it was a job, and it was in YouTube, and I was getting paid more than I was getting paid to go and work it. I was doing, I think, golf cart cleaning, and I was at the bar doing like restaurant work at the time, but I was getting paid more to do that. And so I thought, okay, like, I'll just do this, and I'll go and have my second job on the side. And I was kind of still doing the Wade concept. I wasn't doing it as much because I was trying to reformat the channel. I was like, I don't just want to talk about MMA. I want to talk about this and really YouTube boxing, because I had a couple videos on it and I really wanted to get back into it. But I started to learn YouTube, right? So there was a guy there. I'm not going to say his name, but he was one of my coworkers. He had already had a 100,000 subscriber YouTube channel. This is when I was on like 300.
Mm-hmm.
And so every day was just my opportunity to pick his brain about stuff, thumbnails, title optimization, how to, what people wanted to watch. He was the one that coached me through, like, I love this guy to my grave for this. He coached me through intros, where, like, how long they needed to be, what they needed to be, get your message across quicker. And even outside of that, I learned how to edit through that. And I did some editing for the NBA Summer League as well. But I learned how to edit for YouTube. Like, I was doing editing beforehand, but it was like for, basketball and things like that didn't require the same kind of editing. But I learned how to keep attention through editing in this job. And I took that and I started to apply it to the Wade concept. So that's when things really started to kick off. And I started to quit my job at the bar, and I was doing just G Minio, which we grew for that channel from 600 to 50,000.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, we're doing something right. And so I took that and I started doing G Minio and the Wade concept, and I was doing this, and all of a sudden I started to see the Wade concept's views were rising quicker than G Minio with less subscribers. And I was like, okay, this is interesting, and I'm having a blast doing it. And I just kept going, man. And yeah, that's how it evolved and came about.
Wow, that's
Amazing
inspiring,
story.
bro. Absolutely, like it's so cool to see. And then one thing that when you said that you were working for a different YouTube channel, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what's funny about that? I heard that now that we can say that you made it, you were offered again to work for a different promotion. Like you see where I'm going at. Happy Punch
Yeah.
Promotions, right?
Yeah.
And what I think I'm confident that you denied that. That's why you're the
Yeah.
Wade concept, which makes so much sense. And I know, like in the moment, that seems like such a cool opportunity. But you had faith in yourself that you'd make it higher, right?
Yeah.
But
So I don't
yeah,
mind
go ahead.
talking about it now. I don't usually like to talk about that kind of stuff because it was done in private. But long story short, Keem wasn't like I like Keem. Keem's a cool
Yeah.
guy. Keemstar's a great guy, but he came to me, and Happy Punch was growing, right? And he came to me and said, he said what he said, and basically said, we want to bring you on. But part of the reason I was going to get brought on was he was going to take the Wade concept under the Happy Punch kind of banner, right? And that that for some people, I know some people that have gone and done that and work for them now and have a great job and get to travel and do all that. That's great. For me, I just looked at it as like, what will this be in 2, 3, 4 years? Could I make this into a $1 million valuation channel? And not that I even look at it in terms of dollar and cents, but it just didn't make a lot of sense for me to go and take and put it under something else when I knew I could continue to build it on my own, right? I knew I had the knowledge, I had the experience, and I had the plan to get where I want to get to. And I'm still working on that. It kind of is one of these, but I still think that we're on the right trajectory to get where I want to get. And it was a great offer from Keem and them. It wasn't something that I was willing to give up just yet.
No, absolutely. I understand that completely. And I remember this little scuffle you had with Keemstar over Twitter, and that's normal with Keemstar. Keemstar took shots at me, it's everyone. That's why you can't really take it personally, right? But
I don't think even Keem takes it personally.
Yeah, no,
I
for
think
sure.
Keem is a master of drama. I think he's a master of understanding.
That's his job.
Yeah, that's his job, and he's good at it. And it does. To be fair, Keem probably helped me out in certain ways, right? He probably helped me, show people my, I don't know, the level of intellect or the level of knowledge in this game that maybe people didn't think I had, or just the ability to stand up and say, hey, I'm here too, Keem. Whatever it was, I'm sure people rock with me even more for that. So, Keem knows what he's doing. He's a smart guy, and I got nothing but good things to say about him. He's a great dude.
Well, you know what else to show? The crazy fan base you have. Everyone was on your side. Like Keemstar is like subscriber wise, this wise, I guess the more famous guy. But who was rocking with who more that
don't go against the Wade concept community, man. We got the full media team, bro. You just don't go against them, bro.
Yes, sir.
No, I think that's just a tribute to me always being honest,
No.
Not that Keem is not, but I'm just saying for me, it was always the reason that people, I think, rock with the channel so much is because I'm honest, or I try to be as much as possible. I try to be as unbiased as I can be. And I think that's why people stay around, and that's why people want to see, the next video or whatever. And I think that's always been the way. And, I got good advice from Brian, True Geordie, on that too. When I was really kind of starting to make that peak, I'd always looked at myself as like a broadcaster and everything. And he goes, dude, what you're doing right now, just be you. He's like, being you is what's doing this, not because my mind, I was like, I want to work for ESPN. I want to do all this. He's like, do you, and the rest will come. Like, don't worry about being so professional or whatever. And I wasn't at the time, but in my mind, I was like, I'm going to have to be if I want to, but me keeping it the way I do is the reason I think it's been successful. So.
No, yeah, I can completely resonate with you on that. It's like on Twitter too, like I try to just be myself. I try not to like sucking up to anyone. Even when like Keemstar was the first person on my podcast, so I'd always be grateful for that. But even when he took shots at me, it's like, oh, I'm not gonna just like kind of back down now because
you
like,
gotta fire back, man.
You gotta fire back. But speaking about True Geordie, did you see the Tyson Fury interview? Hilarious,
that man,
right?
I call Brian the GOAT for a reason. You want to talk about a guy that truly is 100% authentic? It is True Geordie, bro. That guy is, no matter what. I can tell you a story. I don't even think they'll get mad about it now. So when we were in London, right? First time I met Brian, we walk in, and I've been in the hotel, whatever. Brian he came in like the day before the fights and he stayed in the room next to me, actually. But he walks into the lobby where we all having a production meeting with DAZN, right? He sits down, and I think he already had a Coke and whiskey or something. And he sits down and he goes, I'm just going to say this now. I wish it was me and this bloke pointed at me on commentary and no one else. To all the DAZN execs, the head of boxing at DAZN, like the head of everybody. And Todd, my guy Todd Grisham, sitting right there. And Todd made a joke about it. But it was just him. He was like, I'm pretty upset that it's not just me and Wade, but whatever. He's like, this is what I'm not going to do. He was just straight up with him. He was like, I'm not doing this, not doing that. He's like, I'm going to be myself. And that's why you get the best that you get with True Geordie. This is why he was so good on commentary the night of. This is why the Tyson Fury interview was as good as it was, because who else is going to call on Tyson Fury on picking Derek Chisora and then saying he's about legacy and then saying legacy doesn't mean shit, and him again calling him on it? Like, no one else would do that, bro. So yeah, Brian's a GOAT.
No, I remember when True Geordie was commentating the Misfits 1 event. He was so good. The whole team was the best. No, they were all amazing. Like, don't get me twisted, but I see so many people mad at True Geordie saying, "Oh, why is he saying this, that?" I'm like, yo, the dude doesn't give a fuck, bro. Like,
that's truly what it is. He's never going to bend what his opinion is. And not to say that Brian's always right about stuff, because he's not, and neither am I, and neither is anybody. But he's never going to bend if he feels strongly about something. Like even saying right after Kenny got the decision, I saw him as he walked off. I think he went to get a water, came back, and he was like, "Whoa, we're not just going to leave this year. This was crazy." Like that is not his win, whatever.
That's crazy.
But yeah, it's just like that's what you get with Brian. He is always going to be 100% authentic regardless.
And I don't know, man. Like going back to the whole Tyson Fury thing, I don't know what's going on with him. It's like kind of seems like a downfall. Like I don't want to say it, but
no, you're right to say it. I don't want to say downfall because like career-wise it's not, but it does feel a little bit like a downward spiral. And I don't know who he's got around him, and I'm not going to question, whatever, but it doesn't seem like he has a lot of people that keep him in check anymore. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of people around him that keep him kind of thinking on that path that brought him back from dark times. I'm not saying anything about Tyson's personal life, but it just seems like he's in that same mindset, and that's not something that you want to see from a guy that already had some mental health stuff. And by the way, some of the stuff he said to True Geordie, who has always been a mental health advocate, was like, that was weird. The guy that was like, so it was very odd.
Especially seeing how amazing that first podcast with True Geordie and Tyson Fury was.
It was great.
It's just so weird. Like, I don't know what to say about that.
Tyson, it's just tough when guys like that have their egos, checked for the first time from somebody like that, and they don't expect it. I think his reaction was kind of just like, "Oh, who are you to talk to me?" type thing, and it showed in the correspondence how silly it was and how awful it came off.
Yeah, absolutely. But Wade, you're doing fucking huge things, bro. You commentated the KSI card, the Misfits 1 card. So big. And arguably even bigger, you're commentating Floyd Mayweather versus Deji. Talk about that with us, man.
Yeah, man. I actually just got my flight today. Nice. I wanted to get out there a little earlier. It's funny, my boy Christian's coming out with me. He's getting out earlier than I am.
Oh, Christian Mundo?
Yeah, shout out Christian.
I love that guy. Yeah, shout out.
He's a monster, dude. He's a monster. I think he's actually editing right now. He better be. But
I always
so I'm going out there on the 9th. I leave the 9th. I get there the 10th. It's like 20 hours for me. But Dude, I'm so excited. Like I've never been someone that'll say like personally I'm a big fan of Floyd Mayweather the person,
Of
but
course,
man, you want to talk about the opportunity of a lifetime to commentate a guy that, quite frankly, is the most hardworking and talented boxer maybe we've ever seen. And also there's Floyd there. So no, I'm just playing. So Deji is got a, you know, it's a great opportunity for Deji too. And that's another thing. Like, again, the stuff that happens behind the scenes. I sat and broke bread with Daly and their whole team right before Deji fought Fuzi and got to know Daly more, and just being able to be in these guys' lives and see how they change and evolve and grow, and especially Deji. And I'm just excited to be like his representative on this, because that's truly what I am. They have Paulie Malignaggi on the call as well. They have Sammy Guevara, which I didn't know.
Random as fuck.
Yeah, I was like, all right, hey, listen, sure, I'll do it as long as y'all get me a gig with AEW. I'll take it.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I basically was like, yeah, like I assume they want me to be Deji's guy, but I'm going to call it straight. I always do. I wonder though, and I haven't been told this yet, so this might be an exclusive for you guys. I don't know if they're going to have me as the lead commentator, because I don't know any other names that, like, is it going to be Paulie? Paulie's usually a good color guy. Sammy's not going to be the lead. Are they? I think they're going to make me the lead commentator.
That'd be pretty sick. Yeah.
No, absolutely no disrespect to Paulie. Well, actually, no, this is pretty.
It's just not even what Paulie does. You go to Paulie for the boxing knowledge, right? You don't go to him to open up the show and lead in and all that, right? I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm excited. This is going to be a fun, it's going to be a fun trip for me. I'm definitely, like I said, the more I do these, the more I try to level up my commentary game. You know, Creator Clash 1, which is the one I'll never forget. And then obviously Misfits, and then Misfits 2. I was super pumped about doing that one. So every one of these I do, I use it like I used my channel for a resume builder and just to show what I can do.
Yeah, you're there to represent Deji, but like, do you think Deji has a chance, or?
I'm gonna save that for the video coming out tomorrow. But I will say, no, Deji has been working his tail off. Like I said, it's a massive opportunity for him. And if anything, he wins by the same reason that we said Logan wins. If he gets in there, right? If he gets in there and he survives it and he goes the entirety of the distance, I think that's probably a better outcome for Deji than it would have been for Logan. If he survives the entire time with Floyd, that's a huge accomplishment. You know what I mean?
The thing is, the way Logan and Floyd's promotion was, where it was built off hostility, right? Deji and Floyd, completely different. They're joking around with each other, this, that. The question is, will Floyd let Deji survive? I think that's the question.
I think he will.
I do too.
Deji doesn't, get crazy with him.
Yeah,
right. Because if you test Floyd, he's gonna be like, all right, well, I tried, and then it's just boom, boom, boom. He did the same thing with Logan. Logan came out aggressive. Floyd tried to match his energy. The problem is Logan's 6'3" and 50 pounds bigger. So all those shots, Logan took them like fair play. And for people that say that Floyd wasn't trying to hurt Logan, he absolutely was. Go back and watch any Floyd fight when he goes high guard, walking forward mode. The same thing happens. People fall and he wins. But Logan was just too big and I think a little bit better than Floyd anticipated. And that's why he kind of pulled back in the later rounds and started going back to his jab. But I don't think he'd have as big a problem with Deji in that respect. But listen, Deji has worked hard for it. He's not going to come in and just play around. I don't think he is. I think he's going to come in and try to showcase some skill. Whether that means he lands a big one on Floyd and pays for it. I would honestly, if I'm Deji, fuck it. Excuse my language, but go for it, bro. Like,
I wish so. I really hope he
does. Like, it's boxing. You're not stepping in there to shake hands and take pictures. Go and try. If he knocks you out, he knocks you out. Cool.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you. Yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously you don't want to get knocked out, but it's like if you get knocked out by Floyd, you're not worse for the wear. And fortunately, hopefully not up here, but your reputation's not gone. It's Floyd fucking Mayweather.
Yeah.
And if you don't go in there and you kind of just play around, then people are going to go, why would we watch this guy?
Like, bro, you got TKO'd by Vinny Hacker. There can't be anything worse. It's okay. You're blessed.
That's the lowest it can be for Deji. Yeah, that's why I think he's going to be like, whatever. Like, I can't get any worse than that. So.
Yeah, no, that's going to be a really nice fight. But about the fight that happened last weekend, actually, one of the biggest fights of, like, obviously this year, Jake versus Anderson Silva. Yep. What do you think about that fight?
Listen, Jake is better than I think a lot of people, including myself, thought. I mean, sure, Anderson had a terrible strategy. I don't know what he thought Jake was. I think I talked about this with Sensei on my podcast. I'll plug it, the breakdown. But I talked to him about that, and basically he had the perfect answer for this. He goes, Anderson just he disrespected Jake. He flat out was disrespectful. He didn't take Jake as seriously as he would take Nick Diaz or anybody like that back in the day, or Chael back in the day. He didn't take him, or even Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And because of it, he paid for it. He got down early in that fight by just allowing himself to walk into range like Uriah Hall kind of did with Le'Veon, right? Le'Veon was tapping him to the body, and Uriah Hall was just taking those shots like, oh, those don't hurt, those don't hurt. Well, in an accumulation of 8 rounds, maybe they do hurt a little more than you thought early on, and those points are landing early. You're getting down on the cards, and you're getting desperate. And that's what I saw late from Anderson, was desperation, because he didn't take Jake as, I don't want to say as seriously. He didn't think that Jake was doing anything of significance early, so he didn't really turn up until he had to in that second round, and then late in the fight. So yeah, I thought Jake had a great game plan, go to the body, work his lead hand. Anderson just had no volume to answer. For every one Anderson threw, Jake threw 2, 3, 4. And Jake caught him with big shots. Like, he can crack. We've known this. He's fast, he's strong. But I think the biggest development from Tyron Woodley 2 to now for Jake has been offensive awareness combined with his defensive ability. We knew he could punch, right? But no one had followed up consistently on Jake. Like, Tyron landed a big one on him, hurt him, put him in trouble. We learned Jake could go through some adversity there, right? We've learned stuff with every Jake fight, but this one I think we learned more. Jake was able to offensively get off shots that weren't just 1-2s. He was able to put together combinations, and he was able to control range defensively sometimes. He was able to be – it's funny. I just got a tweet from Jake's mom. Not like a tweet, but she liked one of my tweets as that came up on my screen.
Oh, wow, nice.
Shout out Mama Pam. She be doing that sometimes. She's not in the DMs, though, don't worry. But
I hope you're not into MILFs.
But no, that was what I learned, basically, was that Jake was able to throw punches, to throw more combination and volume than I'd seen from him over 8 rounds. Like, even in the Tyron Woodley 1 fight, we saw him working off his jab and his back foot, but his technique kind of deteriorated. I didn't see that as much in this fight. And I was just really impressed with his awareness to be able to clinch Anderson when he knew he was in a bad spot, get out safely, reset the action, go again. And just to be able to carry that power once again into the 8th round. And when he put him down, that was the seal of the deal for him.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Everything you said, that makes sense. I personally thought going into the 7th, it was 3-3, 3 to Jake, 3 to Silva. And then I thought Jake took the 7th round pretty clearly. And then the 8th round, I think the knockdown is ultimately what won him the round. See, where Anderson fucked up, you remember the first round where he just did nothing? He
landed one punch. He landed one punch.
It was a nice punch, but that's when Anderson, I know it's mind games, but it's also cockiness. And in an 8-round fight, I don't know if you're trying to risk rounds. That was pretty dumb of him.
I think what Anderson thought was, when he landed that shot at the end of 1, and again, I'll credit Sensei for this. He kind of opened my mind to it. I think he looked at it and said, okay, I got him. That was the shot. He's going to be a little shaky, and that's why he came out firing in round 2 and wanted to put Jake out. Absolutely. And from that point on, I felt like he in his mind went, oh, at any point I can land that. At any point I've got that shot. Unfortunately, he didn't really ever throw it again, the change level left hand. And secondly, I didn't understand the arm punching. I didn't understand the switching stance, walking in without success early on and then just continuing to do it late. The only real success Anderson had was body work and the uppercuts, medium to close range. His jab was non-existent. It didn't look like Anderson had prepared for a guy that, like Jake was ready to go all 8 and outbox him. And I know people got mad when I said that, but that's truly what happened. He got outboxed by Jake.
It's crazy. It's almost like as impressive as knocking out Anderson Silva, outboxing him.
Well, bro, you couldn't have had a more or you couldn't have had a better performance for Jake, because not only did he beat him, on the cards, but he knocked him down. Israel Adesanya didn't knock down Anderson Silva. What else could he have done? The only thing he could have done better was knock him out in the 8th round and walk off. That would have been it.
Yeah, and we all know whenever Jake fights, the one name that's attached to him, KSI.
Mm.
And I wanted to ask you, in the perfect world, who do you think would be next for Jake Paul and KSI until they finally meet up and match up? Like, who do you think? Maybe
Depends on
not.
what you mean by a perfect world, because in my perfect world, Jake fights Tommy next, just because that's the fight I've been wanting to see for a while.
Okay, Jake fights Tom. Then who would KSI fight next in January? Oh, did Wade cut off?
I think the internet disconnected. I'll be coming back here.
Well, intermission, I guess, from the podcast so far. It's going amazing. Let's hope he joins back soon. Let me send him a little text on Twitter. Not great, dude. A little halftime show on No Limits. It's okay. we're not stressing. We're not stressing. Just waiting for Wade. But yeah, Manny, what do you think of Wade so far?
Super
First
cool,
time meeting him,
He's
talking to him.
explosive type of personality too, but just real down to earth type of guy. You know, not superficial at all, and he actually, you know, talks about different people and things like that accordingly. He's not biased at all.
Yeah, no, absolutely, great dude.
Super cool dude.
All right, we're gonna wait for Wade to come back. Until then, Wade is back.
Sorry, if this thing dies again, my fault.
No worries, Wade. We missed you already, bro.
I
Missed
can
you.
tell, huh? I can tell.
Starting to miss him.
We had to have a little halftime show on No Limits. It's fine, no
There
stress.
you go. So, sorry, we were talking about who's KSI's next opponent, right?
Yes.
Yeah, who do you think it should be?
Honestly, man, it's tough when you talk about KSI's next opponent, because for him, I'm gonna get triggered if this isn't fixed. For him, it's gonna be a combination of who makes sense as a main event, and you're seeing the struggles of that with Jake not selling as well as he wanted to with Anderson, and who makes sense competition wise. I think a guy like Joe Fournier would be good for KSI, because it is a level of competition in boxing, and shit, that might be a tougher matchup, to be honest, but it probably makes more sense if you're looking at how he gets to Jake. I guess the Tyron Woodley fight, man. I hate that for him, because he's basically having to fight Jake before he fights Jake, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You know, and it's like, I don't think he gets as much from that, as far as like, okay, you didn't beat him the way Jake beat him, so here's this. Now you got to prove this and prove this. So it's like, but that seems like the way, if you're trying to make a linear kind of path, like that would seem like the way, Tyron Woodley.
And then you think you think Jake versus Tommy Fury, KSI versus Woodley, and then they meet up?
Yeah, that would be the idea, right? Jake versus ex-opponent in February, maybe. They get him back in was it 4 months or maybe March, and then KSI in January, and then they meet up July sometime, August. Do it, hopefully, I don't know where actually. Probably they do it in the UK.
Okay, so what's it called? Oh, you mentioned Joe Fournier. In my opinion, I'm predicting that's KSI's next opponent. I'm not saying I want that to be KSI's next opponent. I really do believe that's who it's gonna be. I know who Joe Fournier is. I know he fought on Jake's undercard when he fought Ben Askren. He's a
It was so weird. He fought on the undercard, and wasn't Jake's girlfriend his girlfriend at the time?
Yeah, exactly. It was super.
They were like beef, because they like did it on purpose to set up beef, and then the beef, I don't know, it never happened. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, I don't know. So, and I heard his record is filled with bums. You can correct me on that. It is, right? So, and I don't know if Joe Fournier is really like an interesting guy, if he has that clout. The KSI, it seems like he's giving out some free clout right now.
Yeah, listen, well, here's the hard part for KSI is there's no one that's going to be his level of clout, right?
Yeah.
Like, who do you go and fight that's like Andrew Tate? Sure, maybe, but
yeah,
I
would love that.
That'd be pretty sick. Yeah,
it's tough, because I think Andrew Tate's a tough fight, man. As much as people don't like that guy, he is a tough fight for guys that aren't experienced, and especially that are undersized. KSI would be undersized in that fight by a pretty.
I think that's why he's not doing it. He said he's underweight.
Yeah, so if you're looking at it, I don't know if that's the smartest fight for them to take, because Tay is experienced, you know, boxing, kickboxing, even a bit of MMA that people don't remember, but he did some, which I think is why he makes a better matchup for Logan. But For KSI, it's like either Woodley, Fournier. Tommy Fury maybe is another guy that would stick there too. If it's me, it's either one of those three because I don't think anybody else right now outside of maybe Nate Diaz, but I feel like that him and Jake are destined versus him and KSI. So those are the three I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I tweeted out earlier that we should push for KSI versus Tommy Fury, and I know that the Misfits 4 event is in America, and Tommy can't go to America. But I was insinuating that like I think a fight that big is worth it to move it back to the UK so they could get KSI versus Tommy Fury going. That's the fight.
Listen, I'll be commentating Tommy's fight here in Dubai, so we'll see how he looks, and then. Yeah, who knows? I have no idea what's going to come next for Tommy, but he seems like he wants both of those fights. It seems like there's more venom there with him and Jake once again.
That's true.
But Jake can't fight everybody, right? So you got to find something. Or maybe he can. I don't know.
Well, moving on a bit from KSI and whatnot, obviously that's a huge fight with KSI and Jake and things like that. But I want to know what your personal 2 YouTubers that would make a dream fight, and as well as 2 UFC fighters that would be a dream fight.
Yeah. Listen, we have talked for a long time about Gib and Slim. That's the fight, man.
Yeah, for sure.
And it seems like they're doing such a good job of keeping them away from each other that it's making me more interested in it. It's the old I watch a lot of, or I don't watch, but I listen to a lot of Jim Cornette, and he says, how can we miss you if you won't go away, right? They keep those two away from each other almost all the time. And there's little bits that we get, like when they were in LA and they dapped up and hey, what's up? We get little stuff like that, but eventually, and I think I don't have any insight into what's happening down the line, but I think they could main event a Misfits event. So who, I don't know what company, but they can main event their own thing. I don't know, Misfits 5, 6. And it would be such a big fight if we just let it marinate a little more, right? Because I don't want Slim to go in and fight like a tough dude first. And this is why we don't want to become boxing by giving these guys just cans to give them to get to the point they need to get to. But we need to pull the trigger when the iron is hot, right? We need to strike then, because if we don't, there's a possibility, because both guys are at the top level now. You put Gib in with Kenny, that's a good fight. You put Gib in with anybody at 70 that's in that top echelon, KSI even, good fight. Possibility of either guy losing. So you want to get that Slim fight and Gib. That's probably the dream one outside of maybe True Geordie Bradley Martin, if I wanted to say one. That'd be fun. Just funny. Because like that one's never going to happen. So that's a dream fight for me. But listen, anytime Face Sensei fights is a dream fight for me. But yeah, those are the two. It seemed like the most real, the most that we dream about that could be real fights. It's those two. Yeah,
that would be a sick fight. What about the 2 UFC fighters?
2 UFC fighters I could see as a dream match. I mean, if I'm thinking right now, who would excite me the most? It would just be to see Conor again, because I like, as much as I have to like not defend how weird he is now, I'm smart with this side. I'm still a fanboy, man. Like I'm still a Conor.
We all are.
Yeah. So having him in there with Jorge would be fun. Jorge Masvidal and Conor would do numbers at 70 easy. My dream matchup at 85 is already happening with Izzy and Pereira, but I'm trying to think at 55, we just saw our dream match. Maybe if Islam and Habib got in there, but it doesn't make any sense because they're brothers basically. Yeah.
That would be pretty cool though.
That would be really cool. Right? To see who's the better, grappler or whatever. But I'm trying to think at 45, Volk has kind of cleaned out the division multiple times, but I mean, if you want to do Max again, let's do it. 35, Aljo and Sugar Sean works. 25, I could not give less of a fuck about right now.
Yeah, no.
Because I do like Figueiredo, but I don't really like anybody else in that scene outside of Moreno, and they fought already so many times.
They're fighting again, the fourth
fight. I know.
Fight.
It's like, bro, I just don't care.
Yeah, I don't care.
Light heavyweight's kind of the same for me right now. I'm just kind of like, Like, I like Yuri, but they got him the rematch with Glover. I'm like, it'll be a great fight, but it just does nothing for me.
Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah.
John Jones coming back and fighting Stipe would be great, but I hear Stipe is holding that division up now, so we'll see what happens, man. Heavyweight is interesting when guys are fighting, but when it's not, it is a bore. But dream matchup, Conor, and that could actually happen, Conor and Jorge. That couldn't actually happen, GSP, and Habib.
Yeah, okay. So you mentioned Slim versus Gib, and that's a crazy debate on who would win. I know you
Yeah.
and Sensei talked about this, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
And I'm gonna give my personal thoughts on that first. I thought when Slim beat Temper, I'm like, okay, I think Slim beats Gib. That's what I thought, right? And then when Gib beats Austin McBroom, I'm like, wow, this is a much closer fight than I thought, right? And I didn't know who to pick. But then when Slim fought Ryan Taylor, I think his gas tank and his lack of defense showed there a little bit. And I think that's what Gib would take advantage of that. And right now, this could easily change my opinion because it's so evenly matched up. I think Gib wins that fight. And no disrespect to Slim. I love Slim, but if I'm being honest, what do you think?
Bro, I picked Slim because I think Slim is far more accurate on the level of, I wouldn't say on the level, but I think he's more accurate than everybody outside of Jake that Gibbs fought. Okay. And he's more creative and he's more experienced. And while, yes, Ryan was able to land shots on him, I do attribute that more to Slim's gas tank than his lack of defense. Which, listen, you're fighting every 2 months. Your gas tank's not going to be great. You're not training. At least not you're not training the way you need to train because you have to let your body recover and come back. I think Slim needs to take some time off, which he's going to do, I think. And not even in the January card. I wouldn't even put him on that. I would say let him rest, come back in the – I don't know when they're going to do – if they're going to do Misfits 5, like what they're going to do with it. I'm assuming they're going to go 5, 6, 7, 8. But I would put him in February or March, and I would put him there with Gib, and I would have him signed. I would have contracts signed by 16 weeks out. Like I wouldn't be doing this 8-week Floyd Mayweather or 4-week YouTube boxing. Hey, are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
16 weeks. You know Gib's going to come in shape. Let's see if Slim can right the gas tank. And really, let's see how Gib deals with that, that reach that Slim puts on guys because he's got crazy reach for 6 feet. And let's see exactly how Slim deals with the inside game of Gib, because Slim can fight inside on taller guys, but we haven't seen it, a guy that's a little shorter that can really take advantage of space do that to him. So interesting fight. I would take Slim in a 4-rounder. I would take Gib probably if they're doing 8.
Okay, that's a very fair analysis. And like you said, I believe that fight is a main event fight. Absolutely. Like I know everyone's saying put this on the January card. If it's on a January card, that's not even a co-main event fight because it's KSI and Logan, right?
Doesn't do it justice at all.
Yeah, exactly. And Slim, at the end of his documentary, already said he's fighting in January. So I wonder who the opponent's gonna be.
Yeah.
I hope it's not Gib.
This guy, bro. Slim just doesn't stop fighting. If he's fighting in January, it's probably not Gib. I would say that.
I wonder who it would be. That's interesting.
Question. I mean, who would want to take on Slim? They could do the Ryan rematch. I doubt that they're thinking that.
I don't think so.
I don't know, man. That's a great question. Who at 70 would want a piece of Slim right now? Maybe if Kenny beats, which I think he will, if Kenny beats DK, maybe that's what he's thinking. Because Kenny will fight anybody, dude. When I got to know Kenny a little more when I was doing commentary with him, that dude does not care. He will fight anyone. He wanted to rematch Sensei. Yeah, let's do it again. He's fallen in love with the sport. He's super talented. He's gained a lot of levels. I think he's a guy. I talked. There was a Twitter thing a second ago from Happy Punch. Who's the most underrated in YouTube boxing? Which is it's a great topic that I haven't talked about. I don't know how. Kenny was like on the front and center, but I don't even underrate Kenny, so I didn't even think about him. I was like, oh, no, Kenny's good. What do you mean? But yeah, I think a lot of people do underrate Kenny a lot.
Yeah, no, I
like to go full distance with Sensei after getting rocked in the first 5 seconds. There's not outside of Logan and Jake and KSI. There's not anybody else doing that, bro. Maybe Kid.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And we're talking about Sensei, man. I want to go near the end of the podcast. How is it working with Sensei? I know he's a good friend of yours. How has that been?
Bro, I met Sensei in person only the first time in May of this year, 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he was actually one of the first people when I was coming up that reached out and it was like the first video I did the breakdown of him in KSI and the spar. And he reached out and was like, great video, great analysis, yada, yada. And it was just like, this guy's talking to, it was almost like God talked to me. I was like, holy cow. Like I'd never, interacted with YouTubers. I didn't know. I was like, this guy's so, he's a massive YouTuber. And then we started talking, and I got him on the show to do an interview. And once I got him on the show and did an interview, after the interview was over, we talked for like a good 2 hours. Sensei's one of those guys, he'll just talk to you for a long, like when we do the breakdown podcast, we do it for like 40 minutes, but we talk off camera for like 2 hours. It's like, we just talk. Like he's, and I've gotten to know him so well. And I met his fiance, and she's such a nice lady. They're all just really, really good people. His dad, great people. His coaches, Coach Tang. And actually, we decided to do the podcast before we ever met in person. It was his buddy Jasper, faze Jasper, shout out, that got in contact with me and basically was like, yo, you guys should be doing a podcast together. And I was like, I don't know. I got a lot of stuff I'm doing, And so, and then, what was funny, Sensei and I and Jasper get on a call, and we found out that we were both hired to do the Creator Clash. And I told him I didn't think I was going to do it. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do it. I don't know these people. Like, I don't know any of the people on it. He goes, bro, think of it this way. And he said it before I even said it. It's a resume builder. And I was like,
wow,
right.
That's a sign.
So it was a sign for me. So I was like, okay, cool. Let's go do this thing. The first night we get down there, he's in my room and we're watching the Celtics in the playoffs. And dude, it was just like two kids that grew up together. We're sitting there laughing, talking about the game. I was supposed to be studying for the commentary. We were up till 2 a.m. just like the dudes that I grew up with, like my boys from Loudon, Tennessee. Shout out Loudon. That I would have just kicked it with all night. He was the same energy, the same type of dude. We had sports debates all night, and then we did our first episode, and it went well. And we just went, dude, let's just keep rolling with this thing. And sure enough, we did, man. So I love that guy. When I say I love someone, that's usually family, very, very close friends. I got a tight group of friends that I've known since I was like 7 years old that I really don't mess with outside of that. It's just the way I roll.
Yeah.
But him, my boy Mundo, my boy Vidal Riley, guys that I've met in this YouTube scene that really, really care and look out for me, like that I've actually spent time with, broke bread with. Love those guys. And Sensei is top of that list. That dude is my brother now.
Wow, man, that's wholesome. That's so wholesome.
Yeah.
And we've talked a lot today about YouTube boxing, MMA, all that. Wait, I want to talk. What else are you up to in your personal life? Outside of your work life, what have you been up to?
Man, I'm not going to lie to you guys. The personal life stuff's been kind of rough right now. We got some health stuff going on.
Wow. I'm so sorry to hear that.
No, it's okay, man. No big deal. Listen, I found out in the last month through many things that have tested my will, tested my I've never dealt with mental health issues. I never have in my life. Never struggled with confidence, never done any of that stuff. But recently I have. And I've realized how big of a deal this can be. You can be as big as a mountain. You could be as strong as an ox. But if it's not here and it's not working, the entire body doesn't, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And I've just been trying to figure stuff out, right? We don't have any answers yet. So, and when I do get answers on what's going on with me, I'll tell everybody. But for now, it's just something I want to keep kind of close. But
of course,
it has been a trying time personally, but it's also been a time for me to say, look at how many people I have around me that care. My mom is, I love, like, I'm a mama's boy. My mom has been here. She's been killing it. You know what I'm saying? We watch Friends. Like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to record. I actually have another doctor's appointment I have to go to. I'm going to record. We're going to do the doctor's appointment, and then we'll watch Friends tonight because it keeps me around people that I know are here to support me, and it doesn't keep me thinking about stuff that can send me, and that kind of like, oh gosh, what's going to happen? How am I going to do this? Is it going to be okay? So personally, it's a little rough, but bro, there's so many people that got it worse. And that's what I keep thinking. Like, you got this thing you're dealing with, but there's so many people that have it so much worse. Be grateful for what you have, and be grateful that you were able to spend time with family as much as you can, and have the finances to be able to go and see some of the best doctors and figure this out, because there's some people that don't. And so I've just been grateful these last 2 weeks that I've been able to be blessed, I guess, because I'm not a big religious guy, but I'm starting to become one a little bit, and everything is put on my shoulders and put on, I'm sure, your guys' shoulders, everyone that can handle it. It's there for a reason, right? So that's what I'm trying to envision right now.
Well, thank you for sharing that, bro. I appreciate that.
Yeah, let's end
really
off the
heartwarming, man.
podcast on a big bummer like that, right?
No, that's not a bummer at all. Honestly, like people need to hear that sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
There's not like everyone can be tough like that. We're talking about boxers, for God's sake.
I know,
like
right?
they
We're all
have such a
talking boxers.
image, things like that. But hey, like they go through that as well, right? It's
of course they do. I mean, listen, we just talked Tyson Fury earlier. Like everybody does. Exactly. Everybody has their spots, man. It's been a trying time, but you don't get tried unless you can handle it. That's the way I look at it. You don't get tried in your life unless some higher power knows you can handle it. So I'm trying to work on right now.
Yeah, and thank you, Wade, for coming on today. This was amazing. I had a blast. You're the commentator guy. I hope we did good being host today.
Oh my God, you want to talk about great? You two had the best questions I think I've asked or I've answered on any podcast, any interview. You guys just ask good questions, man. You don't just ask about, oh, Wade, who's going to win this fight? Who's going to win that fight? You asked about me personally. I don't get to talk about that a lot. And I'm a talker, so I love that, man. You guys did great.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you for opening up. We appreciate your time. I know you're a fucking busy guy. And hopefully we'll have you on again in the future. Of course. Thank you so much for coming on, brother. I appreciate you. Let's keep in touch for sure.
For sure.
Peace out, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed.
Take it easy.